Hello, and welcome to another 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm Ralph Van Forest, a confidence coach, and excited to introduce you to today's guest, Julia Chang. She is um, just amazing lady. She's doing all the things. We met actually a couple years ago. She and I were competing in the same pageant, but for different states. She's lovely. She's a Mrs. And I know that even though Julia just has this great personality, for some reason, I just felt when we met, we really hit it off and just, had great conversations, great energy. But she's awesome. She's a wife, she's a mom, she's a taekwondo master, and she's just really on the cutting edge of wellness and fitness and beauty queen and all the things. But anyway, I want to save her story so that she can tell you and better explain like what she's doing and how this pageant industry has really just helped to catapult her life. So without further ado, welcome Julia.
Hi, Ralph, and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
It's exciting to see you. You look fantastic as always. I think that you are probably one of my favorite I woke up like this women. Um because your look always looks so effortless, even like the photos of you on the beach and the wind like blowing in your hair. And I love that. A mom of two kids. So tell
Three.
everybody.
I,
Three.
yeah,
I missed the baby. So
I,
tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, your family, what you're doing, all the things.
I am a mom of three littles, 10, 8, and 6. And I am a Taekwondo master, a fifth degree Taekwondo master. I've been doing that since I was 5. I started pageantry in 2021. And what else? I'm a mindset coach and motivational speaker. I'm also a body transformation coach. So I kind of do a lot, but I'm really big in fitness, nutrition, and mindset.
I love
And
it.
yeah, yep.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, and I love that because I coach on like the total transformation makeover is kind of where my coaching business started some years ago. And I do, start with mindset. I think that that's a huge it's become almost a necessity. And I know for our industry, in the pageant world, I can speak on in particular, like how do you feel, why do you feel like mindset is so important?
Mindset determines the outcome.
Mhm.
I really believe that firmly. Confidence in how you present yourself, your poise, how you walk, how you sit and speak and interview, the eye contact you make, your energy levels, how you're able to clearly convey your heart and your passion and your platform for serving your community and your state. And the big dream is to serve the nation. It all comes down to your mindset, right? And that's connected to your why. What's your why? What are your big goals and dreams? What's your plan of action? And do you have the confidence to carry all that out? And so you and I, you're on you share this, I share this foundation. The foundation of the pageantry journey and really any journey is mindset. There's different sayings you hear. You have to win in your mind first.
Mhm, mhm.
You know, that is true. I firmly believe that. And
Right, right.
if you, something that we tell our Taekwondo athletes is, if you already lose in your mind, if you're that scared, you're giving your opponent the power, and you're likely going to lose the match because you're so scared going into it. And so mindset it's the foundation. It is the first step before you dive into interview, before you dive into walking or dive into anything. Mindset, mindset, mindset.
I love that. And I totally agree with it. So tell everyone also, because I know that you were able to use pageantry as a way to almost like rediscover yourself and, all the things. So tell everyone though, like why pageants? Like what was it about, going into pageants that really helped? I mean, did you know going in that it was going to probably help you find yourself again? Or were you kind of just throwing a little bit of spaghetti at the wall? And did you get like maybe a feeling like, I feel like this could be really good for me to find myself again?
I've never done pageants before, not as a child, not as a teen. I came into this to celebrate my 40th birthday in a really big way. So my 30s, I got married at 30, had my first child at 31, and then the next decade was me having children. So I felt like my 30s was I was either pregnant or with a newborn, pregnant with a newborn, pregnant with a
Mhm.
newborn. And then I was like, okay, no more kids. And any mom knows it's really easy to give yourself to your family, your children, your husband, the
Right.
family, like keeping the house, and you can easily put yourself on the back burner. And so you're 39. I'm like, okay, I have a year until I turn 40. I'm done having kids. It's time to reclaim my life. You know that movie, How Stella Got Her Groove Back?
Yes.
Well, I say like this whole pageantry journey is all about how Julia got her groove back. And I just through like scrolling on social media, I had seen somebody I knew who had done a Mrs. Pageant years ago. And I think that always lingered in my mind. And so I kind of deep dived into it a little bit more and just allowed myself and gave myself permission to entertain the idea because I was
Mhm.
so scared. Like, who do you think you are? Like you're about to turn 40 and you want to compete in a pageant. You've never walked, you don't have a platform, you don't know what you're doing. And so the negative thoughts really crept in. But for me,
Mhm.
what was stronger than the negative thoughts and the fear was, again, that like I need to find myself again and I want to work towards a challenge. And I'm at a place in my life where I can work towards a challenge and a fun adventure. And so that's how my pageantry journey started. I didn't know if I was going to win or not. That wasn't, of course, that was the goal, but that wasn't like the main goal. It was
Right.
just competing in a pageant because for 10 years, it was about everyone else. And I wanted to feel good about myself and invest in myself and focus on me.
I love it. And so our pageant that we competed in at the same event, but I was competing for the Mrs. Virginia title, Julia for Mrs. Maryland title. But, it was the same event. For those who may not be familiar, sometimes states will combine together. And it's so funny that my husband even said, he kept calling you. He said, "The pretty lady that would come out and, like, had the loudest applause," and it was so funny because that was your family. I don't know if my husband he doesn't remember a whole lot about the pageant, but he remembers how loud your support system was, and to me, that just speaks volumes because obviously, with you making this decision, to find yourself, rediscover yourself, so to speak, not every woman gets the support of their family when they decide to do something different. If you decide to retreat or rediscover or do whatever it is, sometimes the family can be a little bit apprehensive. Like, this past weekend, I went on sabbatical for my 51st birthday. And I had never left to be by myself for my birthday before, but I thought, you know what? It's kind of the time just feels like I need to rediscover myself a little bit of time away. And my family was actually very supportive, and I was the one who was a little apprehensive, feeling a little guilty, like, I don't know, I never left home before. So to see their support, like, especially your kids, I'm assuming as a mom, their little eyes beaming to see their mom on stage. That was what I think what I definitely witnessed from your family. And are they, still very excited and supportive and because you won some crowns. You won some crowns that day. So tell us about like doing the pageant, not really knowing like, if I'm gonna win. I'm not really sure about this. I'm new at this. Some of these girls have been doing this since like toddlers. Um, so tell everybody though, like the outcome, because everybody may not know how this pageant story went.
So we met at that was my second pageant system that we had met at. And when you're referring to my large support system, that's probably my husband. He's the one who has no problem just shouting from the audience. And of course, my three littles are just so super supportive of me. And, you know, Mom, you look like a princess. And
Oh,
their eyes beam. And my daughter, I have one daughter and two sons. She wants to compete in a pageant one day, and I'm all for it. And so we're really big in our family of cultivating, like, whatever you want to do, we're going to support you. If my son wants to play, you know, clarinet, which he chose this year, and he's got his school band concert, we're there, we're cheering him on, we're telling him how amazing he did. Same with my other two children, whether it's cheer or taekwondo or whatever it is, we just support each other. And that's the environment that my husband and I work hard to cultivate. And so that really means a lot that you kind of, you still remember that. And I'm going to have to share that with my family, because that's something we worked hard towards. As far as those negative beliefs, those fearful thoughts, it's so natural. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I just went on Instagram Live doing a get ready with me for this interview and sharing about some of the negative thoughts and the fears that can easily trickle in.
mm-hmm.
If you don't feel fear, you're not human, right? It's a basic emotion, it's a natural emotion. And if you feel scared, nervous, and excited about a big goal, like a pageant, for instance,
Right.
you're going in the right direction. If you are not excited about it, if you don't care about it, you're not going to be fearful. It means something to you. It's meaningful to you. It excites you. It pulls you and it draws you in because it's something that you want to do. Don't shy away from it. Go towards it. Figure out a way. Keep working towards it. Hire a coach. Do the work. You know, say no to things so that you can say yes to what you've always wanted to do.
That's exciting. I loved, you know, getting a chance to meet you that particular week or weekend. I don't know how long we were there. It was a few days. But then, you know, just hearing, you know, about your pageant journey. I mean, I was so impressed that, you know, you were new to the pageant world at 40 years old and basically came in and, you know, a big winner, not just in the system that we were in. For those of you that don't know, Julia did win Mrs. Maryland at that particular pageant. And the previous year, you were at Maryland America. Is that
That was my first pageant.
Okay.
To celebrate my 40th birthday. It was for Mrs. Maryland America in 2021, and went to Mrs. America, and that was mind blowing. What an experience. And then my second system was with United States of America's Misses, and won the state, got to nationals, placed top 12. And
Nice.
so that's what it's been. And the big question is that I get all the time is, another
When's the next
pageant?
pageant? Yep.
When's
When's
the
the
next
next pageant?
And I would love to compete in a pageant again one day. Not right now. I'm focused on a few other things, like finishing my book and getting that published and out, and kind of making an impact through my motivational speeches and workshops. And of course, helping my fitness clients. And so I really just want to double down helping women in these specific ways before I get back to a pageant again. But I will one day. I just don't know when.
And you will, and I get asked the same question periodically, you know, but my coaching business is mostly little girls. And so, you know, and I actually had a couple directors this year said, so, you know, we'd love to have you come back this year. I'm like, this year? I'm like, I have 5 girls I'm getting ready for nationals. And I think what it is that I wouldn't say it's necessarily a tunnel vision. I don't know, but I do find when I have to focus on something, focusing on me competing in a pageant is like it's whole nother thing. Like I can't have anything else going on really. Like it's just people who don't know, who haven't competed in a pageant. Like you said, you're excited about it and you're looking forward to it. So for me, if I'm competing that year, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of other extra things, you know. So I am working on the girl power documentary that Julia is going to be, you know, no spoiler alert here, Julia is going to be a part of that as well, because I want to you know, I want her to share some of her moves and all the things and just show some of the more up close and personal. But I agree, I'm thinking maybe next year, but it really depends on how this year's projects go, if I will compete again next year. I have to devote that time because it's mindset. for those of us that understand mindset, we know your mind has got to be in it in order to really appreciate. And I mean, I'm very grateful to be a part of any type of performance or event, but I also am not going to take for granted and just kind of slop and throw some things together and just show up. So I love that about you. I appreciate how you can kind of just take that focus and do what do what you need to do with your career. So that's exciting. So tell everyone to like what you are doing. I know you, like you said, you have your book coming out. Tell us a little bit more about that and your coaching business and just all the good stuff that we can look forward to that's on the horizon.
What's on the horizon, what I've been working really hard is, and it started with the book. It's called The Wonhwa Way. Wonhwa is female warrior in Korean. And that came about because somebody asked me, how did you become Mrs. Maryland? And that was a really deeper question than just, oh, I practiced walking and went shopping and applied. It really got me thinking about the obstacles that I've faced in life and the hardships and how I've overcome them and how I've, unleashed my inner female warrior to really set and achieve this really big goal. And so I need to put this down in a book. I have to write this down. And so it actually, this concept started in 2021 and it's been a few years since then. And I thought that it was going to be super easy, but it's pouring so much of myself into a methodical way, but that's entertaining through storytelling and connecting.
Right.
And so that's what this book is about. How to unleash your inner female warrior, to overcome your fears, transform it into action, to see successes in your life. And
Yes.
that's also what my mindset coaching is about. I hold workshops based on busting through your fears. Those are also my motivational talks. And so it's all related about what we've been talking about: mindset, overcoming your fears, and how to set and achieve really big goals. And that's my way of sharing my gifts and my martial arts know-how and making an impact and empowering other women.
And it's fun that you mentioned that. So, and I'm gonna do a little more research. I did do a teeny bit of research before because was it earlier this year when you were a guest on Tamron Hall's show? Was that this year?
September of last year.
Wow. See, when we were talking earlier, I'm like, the older you get, I swear the faster time flies because I remember that so vividly, and I'm sure you do as well. And there was an exercise that you did, and you got audience participation and Tamron to participate. And you were kind of like, you had this thing up, and you were kind of tell us a little bit more about that because I don't want to mess it up. But there was this, I guess there was almost like a symbolism of type, when you're kind of cutting through. Like what was that exercise? Like tell us. I know you can't really get up right now, but
yeah, I can definitely share about it. That's part of my Busting Through Your Fears workshop that I do in person, my motivational talk. And I did it with the audience members of the Tamron Hall show and with Tamron Hall. We talked about fear, and we talked about the 5 tenets of the Wonhwa Way. And I had Tamron and the audience members write down one fear, write it down on the board. And I taught them a self-hand technique so that they can literally bust through their fear. And so having that physical act connected with their emotions is extremely exhilarating. It's releasing the fears, and it's completely empowering. It is a hit. It is something that's people look forward to. I love hosting that workshop. And so, yeah, you're talking about the board breaking.
That's what, and I'm always this because I do this because, in a spiritual sense, I do a lot of cord cutting and different types of things that are very spiritual, but it's a physical motion of the cord cutting. Yes. And for some reason, that's kind of when I saw you do that, it's kind of what it reminded me of a little bit because, the act of cord cutting is very much a physical. And if you practice it enough without even having anything in front of you, I swear sometimes I can almost like feel a release that kind of happens. And I remember the look on the audience's face and Tamron's face, and you could see, those of you that have a spiritual connection, or even some people who may have started to feel or see something that didn't really understand what they were seeing or feeling, you could actually feel like tension breaking with that audience that day. It was so amazing to watch. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even, when you're on the outside looking in to something, especially, I could see it. I could see literally like something, there was a breakthrough that happened that day. And I just want to applaud you, because what a great workshop, what a great strategy to teach and share with. Are your audiences typically women, or predominantly women, when you host your workshops?
They are predominantly women. Um, it's about, my talk is typically unleashing your inner female warrior. But
Okay.
the concept of fear and overcoming fear to achieve goals, that's applicable to everybody.
Right.
And so in the audience were male and females. And
Mhm.
it's this, what I teach and share about is for everybody. It truly is. I just so happens that I've spoken to more female groups,
Right.
but I love sharing this with everybody.
Okay. And I think for women, I know with myself and my clients, we don't always give ourselves permission to restart or regroup or pivot or revamp or whatever the things. we
True.
don't we
True.
don't give ourselves permission to hit the reset button enough. Not to say that men do, but they are a little more, they do tend to acclimate a little bit better when they need their me time or they need to revamp. I mean, they're usually a little more vocal about it. They don't, a little more unapologetic by nature. And
Yes.
so I think that it's wonderful that you do kind of, I single out women a lot too with coaching and, talks and different things. And not that, and I used to tell people before, being a women's empowerment advocate doesn't mean that I'm anti-man. it just
Yeah.
it
No.
doesn't mean that, it's just that it's just the area that I know that I can be supportive in, which is one of the reasons why I started this platform a few years ago. I just really wanted a safe place for women to share their journey. And I feel like women in pageants just have a really big story to tell. I don't, even though it's kind of what brought us together, I just think that it's a really beautiful way that God uses to bring like minded women together. But it's just kind of up to us to really tap into that. And so that's why, and it's funny, I was going to share, like, we have a picture of us on the bus that we took, and I was going to share it because we hadn't known each other for, a few hours, a couple days. And I literally just felt like, oh, we're kindred spirits. I feel like I'm just talking to an old friend here.
Yeah.
And you have that calmness about you. And it's wonderful. And we are going to hear more from Julia in the documentary. But, if there's something that you would like to just kind of tell everyone, some little last tidbit of encouragement or word of inspiration or something that, that our viewers can kind of take with them, what would you say?
There's a lot I could say. Um, I'll share this one. I put this on my autograph card when I was Mrs. Maryland America because I felt like that was my anthem for the year. It's a quote by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
I love it.
Yep. And follow me more on www.juliachang.net.
Awesome. Awesome. And we're looking forward to the book, and I will share it with everyone. The documentary Girl Power will be out in spring of 2025. And, maybe we can kind of, have more to share by then. My editor is like, okay, stop sending me stuff. Uh, it's okay. I've told her, like, I'm probably going to use this window as much as we can because we'll be adding. I said, we're dealing with some really, really, really amazing women who are doing awesome things. And so we're going to probably have content coming into this right until the very end. But yes, definitely more on your book, your coaching, but just all the things that you're doing. I'm just so happy for you. So, so proud of you. Love seeing you on network TV. You're definitely a natural.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all just pinch me moments and unreal. But when you have a big heart or you have a big passion and a purpose, it just that really transcends all the fear and the nervousness. And so you just go out and do the thing. And yeah, so that's really what my journey's been about. So thank you so much for giving me the time and space to share again things that I'm passionate about. And I'm really excited to work with you on the documentary. And I'm sure there's going to be other things as well.
Okay, sounds awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me today. And everyone, as always, here's to you becoming the best version of you.